Hello, friends. This is Josue Batista, and I am delighted to be here live. Happy New Year's 2021 to all of you. The hope is that we're going to have a great year. 2020, we don't need to go there. There is plenty that could be said about 2020. But I think the idea is for us who are in leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation, 2021 is the year for us to transform. And that is the theme that I am pretty much sharing with everyone for 2021. Definitely 2020 was the year of disruption at a level that we have not seen before. And that is an understatement. Many of us, all of us have to adapt to some extent to all that disruption brought by the pandemic. But now I believe that 2021 is the year to be or to have an orderly transformation to what is next in your professional lives, in your team, in your organization, and the people and the stakeholders around you. So that is why I'm so excited to share with you a video series that I'm bringing up this coming week, starting Monday. It is a video series about lean transformation, and that is a very interesting topic because lean transformation is about combining the power of the lean strategy, the lean framework, the lean way of thinking, with the idea that we must transform, right? And the transformation doesn't have to be, as I've always said, it doesn't have to be a big, large enterprise, change everything. But if you apply the lean process to it, then there is a better understanding of the opportunities and the framework associated with that. So over the next few days, starting tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to deliver a 5-part video series explaining what lean transformation is and why it's important for 2021. And this, right now, what we're doing in this live stream with the assistance of the ABCS Media Services, thank you so much for all that support from that great platform that is there, that you can actually take advantage of it. But in any case, the idea here in this video is twofold. Number one, I want to make sure that all this video streaming is working properly. And I was planning actually to do this live stream yesterday, but it took me some time to get all the pieces in place. Because the last time I set all this up was back in September, October of last year. And I was pretty much there was a gap in terms of my streaming live due to a new job that I got that I was applying, or I'm still applying as much time as possible and adding more value. But now the intention is that on Saturdays at 11 o'clock, that is the plan, to deliver a video stream live. So there's an opportunity for you to ask questions, to bring comments, and I will introduce the topic for that week. So in this case, for next Saturday, the intention is on the 9th, Saturday 9th, I will bring a new topic, and then we'll do an introduction to it, an opportunity to ask questions and comments. And then Monday through Friday, there will be the time to do all the deliver the video series for you. So again, this topic is quite important to me. I think that it is relevant, and let's just go over it relatively quick, just to ensure that we have an understanding of what this means and an idea what you're going to see in this video series. Let me check here in case I have make sure that everything is working. I was testing my iPhone to make sure that it's working as expected. So let's go over the presentation, right, that we have here. So in terms of the presentation, for some of you, you probably don't know me, or it's the first time that you are seeing me online. My name is Josue Batista. I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am a long-term resident of Pittsburgh, and I have been in technology and business for more than 20 years. It is the ambivalence that I have. I really love the technology. I'm a technologist, but I also believe that the only way to take advantage or leverage technology is with a business intention, with value delivery, value-driven intention. So I have done that in several industries. For the most part, I was in the healthcare and the health tech industry. Most recently, I am in the manufacturing industry and have been also, I am a member of a council in the oil and gas industry in the Middle East. So that brings a diverse series of experiences and exposures to new technologies, new ideas, new transformation opportunities. So I'm very glad to be in this field. I started What and Why first because I believe that those four things, leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation, are together, are chained together. You cannot have one without the other. It's quite important for you to understand how all that creates value delivery when you combine leadership, strategy, and innovation. And of course, technology is there, but technology is always changing. Technology is very fluid, whereas leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation are foundational to any business model that you can imagine. So that is why I started What and Why first, because to me, those are the two most important questions. What are we doing, right? And why? And if you have that clear, if you bring that clarity of intention, things work well for you. In addition to that, I started ABCS Media at the end of last year as a way to create a platform that I can use to deliver this streaming through LinkedIn, YouTube. I am also streaming to Twitter right now and Facebook, to my page on Facebook. And I also have a page that provides caption translation to other languages. We're going to use that starting this coming Saturday. So friends that are in Latin America can get captions in Spanish generated real time with artificial intelligence. And friends in the Middle East can also see captions in English and also in Arabic. So that is the whole intention of ABCS Media Services. It is an organization dedicated to that, to creating that platform using artificial intelligence to deliver this video streaming and other content online. So let's talk just briefly, a brief introduction about Lean. Lean pretty much started back in 1991. These three gentlemen that you see here, Jones, Womack, and Roos, they published a book back in 1991, which was called The Machine That Changed the World. And that was based on other experiences at Toyota. You know, they actually capture a significant number of best practices that Toyota in Japan have been applying for the last 50 years, since the 1930s. And they condensed that into this book. And then they came up with additional book, follow-up book in 1996 called The Lean Thinking, that actually is the, I will say, in my opinion, is the key foundation of what Lean is today, right? The Lean principles, which are essentially 5 Lean principles. The first of all is we need to understand what is valuable to the customer, right? That is the first step. If you don't have that understanding, you're going to be constantly trying and then missing the mark, because go to the customer, right? Trying to understand exactly what is important to them. That is the first principle. Secondly, identify what they call value streams. And actually, I am a fan of value streams because from a trigger to a value delivery, there is a series of activities that take place in order to generate the value, right? That is called a value stream. And the idea is to optimize, to eliminate all the waste, to reduce the number of steps that it takes from that trigger, from when that customer requires or initiates that activity that generates value until the point that they get the value actually. We want the minimum number of steps. And that is the second principle. The next principle is to make the product flow continuously through those remaining value steps. So as you combine several value streams, you don't want lags, you don't want unnecessary dependencies, you don't want things to stop, right? You want to make that travel as smooth as possible. And then that creates a pool, right? Because if there are gaps, because you are pushing and comprising the steps among all those different value streams, then you are going to maximize and optimize the flow. And finally, you want to manage toward perfection, right? To eliminate as many of the waste of time, resources, and bring to the customer what they need faster and with higher quality. That is the whole intention behind Lean. So of course, over the years, there have been additional steps, additional context associated with Lean. Frankly, again, all this started back at Toyota and it has been spreading around the world from this gentleman that started this book and many others, including something that I am connected to some extent, which is the Lean Enterprise Institute. This gentleman, John Shook, he is a luminary when it comes to Lean and Lean transformation. He's the CEO. And he came up with what is called a Lean transformation framework. And I think this was actually looks very similar to the house analogy that Toyota used for many years to illustrate the context associated with their processes, like with Lean. So he kind of adapted that, and there are 5 steps into that. And that is what, starting tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to delve deeper into each one of those aspects of the Lean Transformation Framework as a way to, number one, introduce the topic. Some of you may be familiar with it. Some of you have never heard about it. So this is a good opportunity for all of us to understand what that means and also leverage, right? You don't have to perhaps adapt the whole thing, but at least if you have an understanding, it brings additional context to what you do today in your team or your organization. So essentially, just quickly, everything started with a situational framework. There is no recipe for every scenario, right? So there is a way for us to understand what is the situation, and basically it has to be value driven, right? As I said before, the whole objective of leadership, strategy, innovation is to create value. And that is what the customer is looking for. So the first question here is, what problem are we trying to solve? That is the clarity of intention that I have always been preaching from the last 2 years, right? The what and why. What are we doing and why, right? So if we bring that clarity of intention, then everybody's on board, because everybody in the organization, in your team, should be able to answer that question. What problem are we trying to solve, right? That is essential. Then the first pillar associated with this, because that is kind of the roof, right? The situational approach, is the process improvement, right? So obviously, if we are creating value for someone, for a customer, or for internal, external, right? There is a process already there. So part of Lean is to start with what we have, right? So let's try to get an understanding of the process that we have today to generate that value, right? And then try to understand what are the opportunities to enhance it, to eliminate the waste, to get better at it, right? To improve it in some capacity and some way in order to generate value at a higher level with less steps at higher quality, right? And of course, less costly, because as you eliminate waste, you're going to get immediate value there, from a cost perspective. Of course, one thing is to say, yeah, these are the items that I need in order to generate the value. But the other aspect of this is, well, how do I get there, right? How do I bring my organization to that level? Well, that goes back to the next steps on this, right? The next step is, in this case, is essentially to build the capabilities that you need, right? The capabilities that your organization must have. Perhaps they don't have it today, but what are the capabilities that you need to have, right, in order to achieve that sustainable improvement, right? At all people, for all the organization at all levels. You cannot just do that for management. You cannot just do that for operations. It has to be across the board. And it's a continuous process, right? It's continuously improving all the operations and all the activities. And then finally, actually, step number 4, before the final step, is responsible leadership and having a way to manage the system. So if we have a way to manage the system, creating, cadence, squads, groups, enhancing your product development, enhancing your systems, your processes and capabilities, well, that goes back to leadership, right? And leadership, it doesn't mean management 100%. It also, leadership starts with each one of us, right? If we have that clarity intention, we know what the problem is, we're trying to solve, we know the steps we're taking today, we are taking advantage of the capability improvement, leadership is there to start applying those things, and the management system is a way to measure the performance of those changes. You have to have eyes and ears into that process to understand what is happening, when, how it's happening, how effective it is, applying metrics, and that is, in what is called a management system. And finally, the step number 5 is about, again, it's about the mindset, right? The thinking, the assumptions that you're taking. When it comes to transformation and lean, we're talking a lot about experimentation. Experimentation is the key. You need to start with what you have, and then that process improvement that you're going to apply is based on experimentation. Not necessarily in a big project at the enterprise level to improve all the processes at once, but you apply experimentation to quickly adapt your capabilities to that new flow of value creation. So again, this is part of what is going to drive that transformation, right? It's something embedded by now into the organization. So this 5-step framework, I think, is important to understand it from a practical perspective, and that is what, starting tomorrow in my videos, Monday through Friday, I'm going to explain each one of those. I'm going to provide some additional context, because it sounds very conceptual, but actually it is very practical. We're going to see throughout the videos, I'm going to explain how we can bring practical steps to each one of those at the team level, at the unit level, at the organizational level. Doesn't matter where you start, there is an opportunity to apply lean transformation, and that is the whole intention. So I really encourage you to attend to watch my videos starting tomorrow, because what I said before, it's important for 2021. 2021 is the year for us to formalize our transformation, right? We know that disruption is here to stay. 2020 was an extremely disruptive year. 2021, still we are at the tail, hopefully, of all this pandemic, but it's the time to transform ourselves personally in our careers, at the team level, business unit level, organizational level, to become more effective, more efficient in the future. I want to one more time mention leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation are key. You cannot have one without the other. All of them need to be working together. And finally, transformation is not about digital, right? I know there's a lot of digital transformation out there. Yes, you need to transform your digital footprint, right? It is about business. Digital is granted. Digital is disrupting everything. But the key is to adapt, change your business model. And that goes back to the premise, right? The transformation is driven by business, is driven by value. Yes, it's going to use technology, because you better use technology. I mean, there is no reason why not. But the key here is to essentially always have in mind that the transformation that we are experiencing is driven sometimes by external contexts, like we know in the case COVID and the pandemic. But we internally in our organization, we have the opportunity to become more effective. So what is next? Well, I really encourage you to follow me on LinkedIn. That is quite important. Follow my What and Why First tag so you don't miss any of the videos that I'm going to be creating over these coming weeks. And reach out with questions. That is, I always open to talk to you, to bring items, questions that you have, comments, much appreciated, because that is the key. I love to learn, and not only learn, but also share with others what I'm learning. So please join me over the next few weeks, and starting tomorrow. We're going to learn a lot about what is going on in this space. And until then, as I always say, take care and stay safe. Happy 2021. May all of you have a prosperous, healthy 2021. And until then, till next time, cheers.
Hi, I am Josue Batista from What and Why First. I created this video blog to share with you my thoughts about relevant trends in leadership, strategy, innovation, and value creation. If you want to watch more videos, make sure you follow my blog so you never miss any of my new videos with more tips about technology and business. And if you are already a senior leader in charge of making decisions in your organization, and you would like to put some of these strategies in place for yourself, go to josuebatista.com and learn how I can help you.